No UFO live stream shows on What the Truck. Hold up, what am I thinking? Terrestrial materials on at 1 p.m. Eastern. Terrestrial material, give me a recap. Terrestrial material, that's where you'll find me at. Aliens and AI, Matt, he's a hell of a guy. I bet I'll see John Stokes' steps and rotary motion. The cosmic twilight will hang out too. Jeff Garvey and Tim G. Star will sure stop by. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Live stream shows on What the Truck. Hold up, what am I thinking? Terrestrial materials on at 1 p.m. Eastern. Terrestrial material, give me a recap. Terrestrial material, that's where you'll find me at. Aliens and AI, Matt, he's a hell of a guy. I bet I'll see John Stokes' steps and rotary motion. Cosmic twilight will hang out too. Jeff Garvey and Tim G. Star will sure stop by. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Go! Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please don't forget to like, share, and me a recap. Terrestrial material, that's where you'll find me at. Aliens and AI, Matt, he's a hell of a guy. I bet I'll see John Stokes' steps in rotary motion. The cosmic twilight will hang out too. Jeff Garvey and Tim G. Star will sure stop by. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Happy Sunday, terrestrials. Welcome back again to Terrestrial Material, where we talk about the material us terrestrials are interested in. God, I almost forgot to say that part. How's it going, everybody? Can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me? Intergalactic Angler, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Steve Hammers, Rotary, good to see you guys, man. I'll tell you what. I am a little cloudy in my head today. I can't lie. I've been drinking coffee all morning. I've got extra light on. I got the window open. I'm trying to kind of uncloud my brain. You guys ever have that on a Sunday? Dude, last night was like I slept fine. I seemed A-okay. But, I guess it just happens some days. Last night on Alien Act, I felt like I was sharp. Like I was on point. I wish I was feeling the exact same way right now, but we're still going to get everything done and we'll be able to kind of get through everything we want. All good. Back in time for the show. Yeah. Oh, you guys, I got to figure out a way to pull up the chat right onto the screen so you guys can actually have that up there. But I use OBS and I don't know exactly how to do that. I've been meaning to look into it. It just hasn't been like a super high priority. Not that you guys aren't, really a priority, but I think you know what I mean, right? It's on the list. It's on the to-do list. I even meant during the break to do like a new intro and everything like that. And I ended up getting to like the song and stuff like that, but I don't know. At some point we'll get there. So this week it's been interesting. I don't think that there's been like a whole lot of new news, like a lot of like breakout kind of, things that make you, I guess, wow you, right? Have you guys been wowed this week? Do you feel that way? I don't really feel that I've been wowed this week at all. But the good thing for us is even though there hasn't been like a whole lot that's went on, we still get to kind of recap and go over a couple of the things that I missed last week that I did want to go over. And so that's going to be kind of what the show is today. And it should be fun. I got a little bit of a new way of doing this as well. Let me go ahead and pop this open. I do have to kind of take my time today as I go through this because there are a few points that I want to make and they are spread out a little bit. And if I don't kind of take my time on this, I know I'm going to miss them and that's going to really irritate me. So I will take a little bit of extra time than I usually do to kind of go through point by point. So when I started thinking about this week, I was thinking, you know, David Grusch, maybe it's just because he's been on my mind so much since the UFO log competition. And I do want to take a moment as well and thank you guys, man, for the support. You know, I seen all those votes come in for the polls and stuff like that. And even though I didn't win the competition, which is, trust me, to me, being in the top 8 was winning to begin with. It was just awesome to be there in general as, I guess, you know, 9-10 months of doing this. These guys like Tupa and Brian Johnson and Jonathan Caruso and Astral, all these guys, man, that Tom Thompson, these guys have been doing this for years, man. I haven't. I got followed the topic for a long time, but I haven't like created content and done a YouTube channel like this. This is all new, man. So a lot of this process you guys are seeing from the beginning, of course, and you're learning as along as I am. You know, I kind of have felt like that's been a nice part about this channel is that we get to kind of go through this process together and break everything down. I'm definitely not a know-it-all, man. I try to know a lot. But you know, you can only do so much and there's only so much time for things. So yeah, David Grusch, he's just been on my mind. Like, where is he? You know, where is he? Is it a timing thing? Is that why we're not hearing from him? Does he have something in the background that he's working on, or is there a group that's kind of leading him along? You know, I hate to be a broken record, but you know, we don't have the op-ed. Like, why don't we still have that? Why is that hiding away somewhere in Eric Burleson's desk? You know, who's got the key to that desk to get that out? What's it? Rotary says, Louise looking rough, man. Oh yeah. You know what, Rotary? Thank you. Because what we should actually do really fast is last night at Alien Addict, I kind of alluded that there may have been a Fox News interview with Elizondo that was released. I have to kind of back off what I said there and kind of rewrite history on that. I wish I could go back to the show and change it, but I can't. I thought this was a still from like a new video interview. There isn't one. He made some statements to Fox News and what Greenwald here. Let me zoom back. I was zooming in on this here. So Lou Elizondo, former head of Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, says he's faced threats as he pushes for UFO transparency. So really what this was, we're not going to spend a bunch of time on him with this today at all. But I did want to kind of correct the record, I feel like, at the start of this. This was him talking to Fox News and kind of talking about the threats that he felt were out there about him. And so a lot of people are, you know, for the second time through here, giving him a lot of pushback again, saying, hey, look, now it was, you know, the Good Trouble show where he first came out and it was kind of book promotion. We all feel like now he's on Fox News promoting it again and it's more book promotion. It's just at another level again. So yeah, I apologize, guys. I there's no video that I've found. I looked last night. I couldn't find it. But I did see this photo and this picture, and it's kind of like an attention grabbing thing. So yeah, correct the record. I always try to do that. If I get something wrong, man, even though I don't consider myself a journalist, I still like want to be able to correct things that are wrong. I think that always helps. But yeah, you know, back to kind of what I was talking about, like, where is Grusch? I mean, we know that he did a millionaire briefing in New York where he was kind of breaking everything down of his knowledge that he has. I mean, exactly what he was talking about in that meeting, we don't know. We don't know what he was really presenting, but obviously it probably has to do with a lot of what he was talking about, at least in that congressional hearing. If he went deeper or not, who knows? But he's showing his face in those areas. He was invited to go to the SALT conference and just didn't end up showing there. I guess there was a conflict of interest, or not conflict of interest, a conflict of scheduling, excuse me. I always want to say conflict of interest on that. But the scheduling was off, and so they ended up having Carl Nell take his place. And he said, obviously, the interesting things. I haven't went over that. You know, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I was going to talk about that maybe this week, but I guess I'll push Carl Nell to the next one, and we'll go over him a little bit further, either next week or the week after, however kind of it shakes out at that point. But yeah, where do you guys think he's at? You know, when I posted the show at the top on Twitter, I said, you know, let's talk about it. I really do want your guys' opinions, because I don't have the answer. I can give you, you know, my assumptions of where I think he is, sitting behind the scenes, not talking. But I really kind of want to know what you guys think. You know, put it in chat here right now, or, you know, you can put it in the comments later if you guys are watching this later. But yeah, I mean, the court of public opinion, you know, what's going on with David Grusch? Why are we continuing to have this saga of him just not talking? We do hear conversations from, or I guess we're getting, how do I want to say it? There's like rumors of feelings from David Grusch, rumors of his thoughts on people like Jason Sands. And that's why I have this kind of queued up here, is because this is the first thing that I think we ought to go over when we start talking about Grusch and any kind of recent, maybe news or recent, like, I told you my head's cloudy today. I'm really searching for the words today. Jeez Louise. For any new information of kind of how he's feeling, you know, what he thinks is going on. So let's start off with this clip. This clip, obviously every show we do this. Shout out to Skyfire News. They've been, you know, helping keep a good show going for everybody. David and the rest of the guys were upset with me. I didn't realize that they all had these plans, and I think I shattered some of that in their mind. This is what Jason Sands is saying about David Grusch. Jason Sands says David Grusch and others in the disclosure movement disapproved of his coming out publicly in a Twitter, and I'm assuming it's going to say Twitter space. Yeah, Twitter space. So this was kind of like, this was recent. I think this was a couple of weeks ago, how it ended up going with Jason Sands. He's been quiet after Sands' first Twitter space. That was maybe two and a half months ago. How you doing, Teen Titan Jess? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. After that first space, there was so much heat that he got from, I think, James Fox and a lot of the community, especially, I mean, that's not even like talking about the things that he was claiming, but it was this kind of heat that he kind of came out the way that he did. And so he stepped into the background. And then recently, this is a clip from his recent Twitter space that he came out and started talking again. And he started alluding to these problems behind the scenes that David Grusch was upset with him. My initial thought when I heard this was, where are we getting this information? How do we know David Grusch said this? Where'd this come from? And I tried to get an answer, and I didn't get one that was satisfactory, other than just it came from Jason Sands. So we just have to kind of take his word for it. And his word, unfortunately, has been a little shaky on a few things. And so we'll get to the clip here. It's about 1 minute and 35 seconds. And yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. We'll get his kind of take on it. If the volume is really high, by the way, at the start, I will adjust it so not to blow your eardrums out.
40 whistleblowers that David Grusch mentions. Okay, are you one of the 40 whistleblowers that David Grusch mentions?
I thought I was, but after David got pissed at me for coming out publicly, now I'm just one of 80. So I don't know what to think.
Wow.
That's a weird statement. Could you guys hear that? I'm sure you probably could. That's a weird statement. He says, you know, I thought I was one of the 40. Why does he say he thought he was one of the 40? Just because David Grusch, let's say Grusch was mad at him. Let's say that this is true. How would that kick you out of the list of the 40 people that he spoke to? Doesn't change the fact that you spoke to him. Doesn't change the fact that you were in that group of 40. I don't know. I mean, I guess I get what he means, that he feels like he's on the outs with him. But I just thought that was a really strange way to put it. But Sands puts things in a lot of weird ways. We'll go ahead and continue on it. And yeah, shout out to UFO Shane. That was UFO Shane asking the question. You know, he loves the shout outs, man. You got to give him shout outs. He asks good questions, though. He asks good questions. So here we go. We'll continue.
Why is David Grusch annoyed that you actually came out publicly when he came out publicly?
David and the rest of the guys were I guess, upset with me was because I didn't realize that they had all these plans, okay? And I think I shattered some of that in their mind, and that for some reason I was either going rogue or hadn't thought things through and all this other stuff. And maybe they're right. Maybe I didn't think it fully through. And
so what do we think about that, right? So he's saying, well, David Grusch is mad because there's the plans that are behind the scenes. So I think he's alleging that these 40 whistleblowers that he doesn't consider himself a part of anymore are almost building this, armada is not the right word, because I mean, it's like ships. I guess you could maybe make that reference, like it's a giant armada that they're building. But they're essentially building this giant pressure point, and they're all maybe just going to come out together at once. And I've always kind of figured that if these 40 people don't have, really good, like hard proof, a lot of firsthand evidence, or at the very minimum, firsthand testimony, then it's probably better that they all do that rather than just kind of coming out one at a time. And the reason why I say that is when we look at Jason Sands, he's a good example. He's come out here, whether you believe him or not, or what have you. Let's say everything that he's saying is true. What's the impact that's been made from that? Not much, if anything. The UFO community's talking about it, right? We are. We're making mentions of it. We like to hear him come into spaces and talk and, get some on new possible information. But is the mainstream media picking up on that? Is Congress picking up on that? Is Tim Burchett and Anna Paulina Luna, is she talking about how they're going to get Jason Sands in a skiff? No. And I understand that he's saying that he spoke to them already. I already understand that he spoke to Congress. But I'm saying that there's not really any movement from that. And I don't see how Jason Sands coming out and telling his story now would actually affect a giant 39-man, if he doesn't join it, 39-man push of people to expose the truth, to try to create that. I just don't see it. The power is in the many for me. It's not in the singular. If it was the singular, I think we just would have already moved on from that. So I don't know if I really fully agree with that. But once again, this is all such speculation. I mean, that's really all that we're dealing with. And it's all that we can really deal with Sands. So it's just speculation on speculation. And, can't really sink our teeth into too much. But we'll go ahead and continue the clip. I think there's like 35 seconds left here.
And it did do some kind of damage to their plan, but I don't think it did, actually. I think it may be actually coming around to help them, because they seem to be coming out on media spaces themselves now, and stuff like that. So they know who I am. Everybody has talked to me. The only thing I can't produce for them is the same thing I can't produce for Congress, a UFO. I don't have one strapped to my back. Sorry, guys, I can't do that. Can I drag the guy out of the desert from my past in the 1990s? Hell no. I can't do that for you either, dudes.
I think that's the end of the clip. Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with him. I don't think that there's damage. I don't. I think he could come out. Grusch could kind of lead the charge. But once again, I mean, there's no proof that he's even doing that at that point. So it's interesting. We'll have to kind of see where that ends up landing. Yeah, here was somebody else saying, Sands responds to Grusch. This is the kind of feeling that I'm getting, is like that people are just taking this to heart. They're just believing wholeheartedly. And I'm not saying Arthur, I'm not calling this guy out or anything like that. I'm just saying the titling of this, Sands responds to Grusch. It's like Grusch didn't respond to begin with. Sands alleged that he said that. I don't know. Every time I heard people talk about this, that's all I got, was they just took it to heart and moved with it. Interesting enough. Let me zoom out here just a second here, guys, for you. So yeah, like I said, I got to go through this a little bit slower than I usually do. The other thing that I thought was, look at Lou. Look at Lou, man. He's hanging out at the bar. Every single photo, we'll stop here for just a second. Every single photo we've seen of Lou lately, he's got the biggest smile on his face. He's got the wine. He's got the beer going. He's partying. He knows that book money's coming. He's got Cahill here. They're just living it up, huh? I can't help it. I can't help but laugh. Let me double check, guys. Let me see if there was something else that I wanted to to mention about this, about David Grusch here. I think that there was an interesting quote from Burchett. Oh yeah, this is kind of an interesting thing here too. So new statement from Grusch, and I don't know exactly, like I know Skyfire is reporting this, but I don't know exactly where they got this quote from him. I wish I did, to be very honest with you. Let me zoom in so you guys can kind of read this. It's a photo. I can't. So I'll read this for you guys. I'm not aware of any of the 40 primary interview subjects that formed the basis of my ICIG whistleblower complaint having gone to Arrow to be interviewed. That's interesting enough. The witnesses conveyed to me a lack of trust in Arrow and the command climate. I'm only aware of 3 individuals with most likely secondhand knowledge that were that were interviewed by Arrow, and that I also spoke with some years back during my research process. Now, is Jason Sands one of those people? That could be. This could also be an area why Jason Sands feels like he's not a part of the 40 because of this statement. Once again, I don't know exactly how Tupa and Red got a hold of this statement from Grusch. But yeah, that's interesting too. Let me see. Those individuals did produce some interesting leads I followed, but it appears Arrow did not have the expertise to distill the information they were given, as it should have provided them access to a large body of foreign intelligence and other U.S. program information I had access to that is not reflected in the Arrow Historical Report, Volume 1. Senator Gillibrand does not have access to my witness list. Now, this is really interesting, guys. And as I'm reading this, I'm like, I know where I'm going next. I almost forgot about this part. Senator Gillibrand does not have access to my witness list, so I am unaware how the senator allegedly has made any assessment in that regard. Now, why is that interesting? That's interesting because we kind of have an idea of maybe where she got the list. Maybe. Okay? Let's take a look at this. This was an article. I'm going to pause it right here. It's somewhere in the video. I couldn't find it, but we got the quote right here from Matt Laszlo. So we know that there's, and we're going to get to this next, but we know that there's a couple of potential hearings that are coming up. The first one, Senator Gillibrand is talking about having Arrow being involved in a hearing. Okay. Now, we've also heard rumor from Anna Paulina Luna and Burchett that a field hearing is coming where they want to talk about like USOs, but they're also talking about a cooperative, hostile, a list of cooperative and hostile witnesses that David Grusch put out. What have they done with that list? So here's the interesting part. How does Burchett know about this? So here it is. Key Burchett moment here. Can you guys see that? Okay, you can. Matt Laszlo asked David Grusch. David Grusch gave a list of cooperative and hostile witnesses. What have they done with that list? Burchett says they'll be part of the next hearing. Some of those folks. I'm afraid to give out too many names because, as you know, what happened the last time we had like 12 people that were coming in, we ended up with 3. Burchett exclusively tells Askapol we had some people that were scared. So the list is floating around. Does Grusch really not know that? That's so interesting to me, man. I would assume he would have an idea, right? I'd assume so. I'll look at chat here for a second. What happened to Stephen Greer whistleblowers? Only heard from them. Who knows? Some of those whistleblowers of Stephen Greer, they I don't want to show you guys this just yet. This is really cool. This is for the end. I don't know, they went on like Sean Ryan, stuff like that, but the guy from Alaska, the plumber, he was a contact in the desert, Jess. I don't know much else beyond that. Always talk in conference, etc., but nothing comes of it. Yeah, it's just, it's weird. Like I keep saying, like there's not like these giant breaks that we're getting. It's just these minute little updates that go along that I'm just trying to kind of keep track of and follow the breadcrumbs on. And I think that list is interesting because the list, that was a big part of that hearing, that first congressional hearing that Grusch came out and testified. He said, I can tell you the names. I can take you to the addresses of where this stuff is. I can show you the people that are causing me harm, or that are threatening him. So it's interesting. It's interesting because he doesn't know supposedly how the list could be there, but it's like, it's right there. Burchett seems to know. I don't know. I wanted to make a mention of one other thing, and that was, I believe, the Arrow. Look at what they did. I'll stop right here really fast, dude. Look at what they did to GC here, huh? Grant Cameron. they got AI Grant Cameron. They made him into a little AI guy here. It's iRobot that can fly. GC. You ain't got to do GC like that, man. I like Grant Cameron, man. He's interesting to listen to, without a doubt. Still dealing with the bookmark thing here. Yeah, right here. So Senator Gillibrand chairs the Emerging Threats and Capabilities Subcommittee of the Senate Armed Service Committee, and that will be the venue for the Arrow-focused hearing that she told Matt Laslo she plans to hold at the appropriate time. I'm going to read this because this is actually all pretty interesting from him. At the appropriate time, there presumably would have to be a sign-off by the Armed Service Committee Chairman, Senator Jack Reed. It would not be surprising if Senator Gillibrand at some point mentioned the planned Arrow-focused hearing to Senator Warner, or if this were discussed between their staffs before it was publicly scheduled. But it is also not surprising if that has not happened yet. At the time of Mr. Laslo's last conversation with Senator Gillibrand on June 5th, she had not yet even decided whether to have the hearing in July or September. So we're going to get it. It's going to come. I've heard some people talk about how they feel like this might end up not going through. But, I mean, that's just, people's opinions on Twitter and Twitter spaces and stuff like that. It's not like I don't have any inside sources, man. This is all, the only inside source is my brain that's inside my head, man. That's really it. But yeah, just kind of rolling along here with where is David Grusch, kind of just rolling into what is going on. I mean, where are things leading with Congress? What is his association with Congress? And even what was his association with the UAPDA or the Disclosure Fund that I want to talk about today too, the UAP Disclosure Fund, which I always get those mixed up because they're so close. But yeah, that's there. This is coming. And since we don't know when an Arrow director will be named, the identity of the star witness also remains to be determined. So there's, I guess, going to be, one witness only at this Gillibrand hearing? That's what Dean Johnson is alluding to here. A star witness. I like how he says star witness. Who could that be? I don't know. It's not going to be Kirkpatrick. Under his chairmanship of the Intelligence Committee, Senator Warren has allowed worthwhile UAP-related legislative to advance on successive intelligence authorization bills, but I have never seen any indication that the subject ranks among Senator Warner's top concerns. This is an interesting quote, too, and it kind of relates back to Grusch. When you look at David Grusch, Matt Laslo did a really good kind of breakdown of, like, he got a statement from, we went over this too, that 100 of the Congress people, all 100, where they were at with Grusch. Did they know about him? Did they believe him? Are they looking into him? So on and so forth. Warner was the one that seemed to be very oblivious. Gang of 8 guy. It's not good. It's not good, man. And so that's what you're hearing. You're still hearing that there's not a whole lot on the table from him. When you're looking at just overall interest, I don't know. Interesting deal to me, at least. I'm going to keep following along with it. Let me see if was there anything else that I did want to mention before we move, because we are kind of flowing through this. As I was setting this show up, I thought, that I could brick this out better into like maybe section 1, section 2, section 3. They're kind of just flowing. So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and keep flowing with it if you guys are staying with me. Vetted is on now too, promoting books yesterday. What Vetted's promoting? Whose book? Angler. Is he promoting Lou's book? Man, Lou's book is everywhere, huh? Let me see. I want to grab the next piece for you guys. Should we just jump in? Yeah, we're already flowing on this. We might as well. We're already flowing on this. So Senator Rounds, obviously Chuck Schumer Rounds, they're the ones that were big time involved. They helped write the legislation when we're talking about the UAP Disclosure Act, right? UAPDA last year. A lot of people speculated, we have too, whether or not it's coming, what they're going to do this year. Senator Rounds is saying the UAP Disclosure Act 2.0 is continuing to move forward, and we'll see where it goes. We've just got to clarify what our goals on the UAP 2.0 are, and I think we can work through them. So it's coming. They're working on it. Now, there are people that are pretty important that, I guess I can make this bigger for you guys, that don't think it's going to go through, that aren't very hopeful for it. And this is what Congressman Tim Burchett on the Schumer UAP amendment, it said. And you know what? Actually, before that clip, let's do this one. Let's get his take on it. That's kind of a take of what he thinks happened to the last one. Let's start off with this one. Let's get Burchett's take. Laszlo, shout out to Matt Laszlo, guys. We want to keep him here. He's given us all the information that we need here.
With the NDAA, what would you like to see happen with Schumer's UAP amendment? Any revisions to it, or?
I don't think that's a good idea. All they got to do is say it's national defense, and then they stop everything. And that's, sort of where we're at. 60 pages of it. They're going to tell me, it's not germane to it. Mine's just a page and a half. It just says declassified if it's UFO or UAP related. Just declassified. Because if they don't exist, what are we worried about?
Yeah.
And
sorry, the audio is so low, guys. I can't get it up any higher. But he's just saying he doesn't think anything's going to come of it. I wonder. Writing it is one thing, right? But as we seen last year, there was a lot of hype around that UAPDA. A lot of people were interested. There was a lot of awareness around it, and it just didn't really go anywhere. It got destroyed. So he's not as hopeful, but he doesn't like it. He wants them to, like I'm saying, just release the files. He doesn't want a 25-year process. So this is his take on it. But I think what was interesting is I think this was from Project Unity, where he just was interviewed. He thinks that it wasn't ever intended to pass. How about this, huh? Let's listen to what he has to say
I
here.
made some comments.
Let's go full screen on this. Why is the sound so low for you guys?
About Chuck Schumer, about his amendment that didn't go.
You know what? I bet you I know what it is. Hold on. Oh my God, it's my fault completely. I have Google Chrome turned down. My bad, boys and girls, ladies, gentlemen, terrestrials. Here, let's take it from the top, huh?
I made some comments about Chuck Schumer, about his amendment that didn't go on. And I just said, I said to the people involved, I was like, he's helping us. I said, well, we'll see. And then his amendment didn't go on. This is the most powerful guy in the world. This is the guy the reason we're spending $160 billion in Ukraine. The guy that's responsible for a lot of policy changes and maneuvers in this country. And he can't get an amendment on about UFOs? Come on. Come on. And then if people...
It's kind of true. But there's also, we don't know who the people are, but there were people behind the scenes that were stonewalling. They were trying to block it. And so I thought this was really interesting, man. He thinks it wasn't ever intended to pass. Well, then why even write the thing? Why do that? I don't know. This broke my brain a little bit. I've tried to come up with an answer, and I can't. It seems very, very strange. And what do you guys think? Moody Mago, greetings TM in chat. No, I think that Matt records this stuff. However, get a proper mic. Well, you can't hear. Can you not hear me very well? Is that what you're saying? I don't know what you're saying. Moody's always coming in here. See, but here's the thing though. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. He comes in and kind of tells me, hey, you got to get this one going. I just want one dadgammit. He's denying me. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't intended to pass. I wish I could know more behind the scenes of why he thinks that's the case. It is interesting enough. So that kind of leads us into, I think, is a good little kind of segue into this UAP disclosure fund. Okay. Now, this has been kind of an interesting thing that's been popping up. It's not the first time we've seen one of these, and we'll kind of take a look at the the reference that I'm making to with that. But a couple of weeks ago, when was this? June 2nd. This was reported that we have a cast and crew here. And I think I got a better picture of the kind of cast and crew that I'm looking at here. Yeah, right here. So this is the UAP Disclosure Fund, a new organization with leadership consisting of Luis Elizondo, Gary Nolan, Carl Nell, Chris Mellon, and Matt Ford. These are the guys here, okay? Interesting. Mellon and Elizondo are back. And then look at this. I thought this was kind of a worthy note here. Here's Kirk McConnell. He's on the advisory board. Where did we see Kirk McConnell? Huh? You guys remember? Let me show you where we seen Kirk McConnell. Boom. You guys remember this photo from last week? Here's Sean Kirkpatrick at that 2018 meeting with Brandon Fugel, the Skinwalker Ranch meeting here. Senate Armed Service Committee. There's Kirk McConnell. It all comes together. You see these guys all over the place, huh? You know what I did too? I got the actual photo, so now we can zoom. See him, dude. Oh man, he is just dead to rights right there, huh? I was listening to just, I guess, as a little aside here, I was listening to the second part of the Green Sheet interview with him and about this meeting, and kind of he was breaking down what happened, and Kirkpatrick kind of gave some more takes on it. Spoiler, we still don't have the answers that we want, but the whole point was to see here, here's Kirk McConnell. These guys kind of all reach back. It's always cool sometimes to look back and you can kind of make those connections, but yeah, there he is, Kirk McConnell. And this has been a controversial thing. The UAP Disclosure Fund is a nonpartisan political nonprofit. It's a 501c4, which we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, that advocates for greater government transparency regarding the unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP. We work to support new UAP legislation, provide legal representation for whistleblowers, promote scientific research, and raise public awareness in an effort to better address the UAP issue. Now, there's a large part of this that I think that they're trying to sell this UAP Disclosure Fund with, which is what we just read. We work to support new UAP legislation. Do we need to do that, though? Do we need to fund new UAP legislation? What did we just go over, guys? And I'll pull it up again, just so that we're all on the same page here, what we just went over. I'll find it. Here it is, Senator Rounds. UAP Disclosure Act 2.0 is continuing to move forward, and we'll see where it goes. They're already doing this. They're already here. Lou Elizondo and these guys, they don't need to form an organization for legislation that's already there. The awareness is already there. We've got Burchett going into SCIFs, UAP caucus members, legislation being written. The DOE Secretary Jennifer Granholm was just ripped into in front of Congress and questioned. Congress is aware. Like everyone's aware. I don't buy this part of the UAP Disclosure Fund. I don't buy that we need to give them money for awareness anymore. Same idea here. What I mentioned earlier, New Paradigm Institute. This is another institute. This is Danny Sheehan's program here, okay? Let's pop this up real quick. Time to pass the UAP Disclosure Act. Here's another group. Sign up for updates. Donate. Right up top here. Donate. Donate for what? I don't know. I don't see why they need the money. Now, I could just be really, really ignorant to how this stuff works. Very possible. If I'm wrong and people can kind of correct me on that, say, hey, here's where they need the money, that's fine. But I don't see it. I see the awareness is already there. A lot of people made a lot of noise last year over the UAPDA. I can't comfortably do that. Or can't comfortably suggest that you give these people money when I don't really feel that that's something that's necessary. So it's not this UAP Disclosure Fund. It's not the first one that's come up that's asking for your money for that. Now, the other part of this is that, let me jump back just so I know that we're where we want to be here, because there's a couple really interesting points I think that are here about this. I think it's right here, right? Let me see. You get on a roll, you get on a damn roll, and then it just destroys you. Here we go. I think it's here, right? Yeah. Okay. Provide legal representation for whistleblowers, promote specific or scientific research, and raise public awareness in the effort. Now, the other part that they're mentioning that you're going to hear in this clip that we're going to watch is they talk about this support for whistleblowers in the sense of like a PR team. You know, they also talk about support for like travel expenses. These are a lot of the reasons that are being given that they want the money. And they're hoping to have somewhere around $2 million throughout the first year. So I think he says 1 to 2 million in there would be a sufficient kind of W for them at the start of the year. But we'll go ahead and go to the clip. I just wanted to give you as much background as I could to kind of go over the situation here for you. Okay. So this is a 5-minute and 50-second clip. I don't know how much of it we'll go over, but it's interesting enough, and we'll roll.
I'm the founding executive director of the UAP Disclosure Fund. And as you know now, tonight was our big launch, and we're very excited about it. And we are a new nonprofit, nonpartisan political advocacy group that is going to be pushing for greater transparency from our government regarding UAP. And we're going to be advocating for more legislation coming up here in the 2025 NDAA that will include elements of the 2024 NDAA that were removed at the last minute. Elements like the Presidential Review Board that would be responsible for reviewing previously classified UAP records.
And I want to pause it right there. But that's what they're doing. To the best of my knowledge, what I'm seeing is that's already going to be a part of it. They're not changing a whole lot of the UAPDA again. They're essentially going to go back through it again. They're going to make little tweaks. Like there's a tweak to where if it were to get through, that if they went out and tried to, if there were votes to kind of remove items from it, that's all they would be able to do after the UAPDA was passed. They couldn't just take the whole UAPDA and just totally overturn it if it were to go through anymore. They would have to go section by section, light item by light item, and pick. So that's like something that's new, that's rumored, that's coming along with it. So yeah, I don't see that's already coming. And also this, I'm going to probably destroy pronouncing his name, but Yuan Feng, I think that's this guy that's speaking right now. I thought he was an interesting choice, and interesting in not a good way, in the sense of he's the director. He's the guy that's kind of running this whole UAP Disclosure Fund. And his background, what I was able to find about him was that he was a previous director of like design production for some company. I don't want to get too into like naming those places because I don't know how much I can really say that. And then, he was big with freelance web design over the last 24, 25 years. This has been his specialty. This is the guy running this program. I feel like you'd have someone with more political background, right? Wouldn't you want somebody like that if that was kind of where you were? Why do you want a web design guy? I don't know. Maybe there's a good reason. I don't know. I couldn't find one. It just seems strange that he's the one speaking. He does a pretty good job speaking though. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but we'll go ahead and continue just so you guys have a little bit more understanding of the background of where this guy's coming from.
And giving recommendations to the president on how to release those records to the public over a relatively short period of time. And we're also advocating for greater whistleblower protections because the protections that are in place now are not sufficient. And it's one of the reasons.
And then Tim Burchett does agree with him on that there aren't sufficient protections. So they want to go ahead and get more of that. But once again, Burchett is aware. Somebody explain to me why we need to spend more money on awareness. I'm going to be a broken record. Why do you need my money to make people aware who are already aware that can do something about it? Ask yourself that question.
Why, since David Grusch last year, we haven't seen, more come forward. Even behind closed doors, it's been difficult. As many of the people here know, there's been a lack of trust with Arrow and, wanting to come forward and share with Arrow.
I understand there's a lack of trust. I personally think that they should go to Arrow anyway. I don't see what's the harm in talking to them. I've always said this. Go and speak to them. especially when you get somebody new in there. I mean, I know they're trying to get a new head for Arrow. Maybe they're waiting for that. Maybe they're going to feel more trustworthy with someone other than Kirkpatrick. But at the end of the day, no matter what Arrow says, like in return to the information that they're given, we can always pick that apart. Christopher Mellon picked apart Arrow's first volume. Like that's still going to be there. The opportunity is still there. I don't see how it hurts them. I just don't, unless somebody can prove me wrong on that.
So what we really need are greater protections for whistleblowers enacted in the 2025 NDAA. And so that's something we're advocating for. And our initial campaign out of the gate here is to rally public support and have people sign a petition that we will, in a number of days here, we're going to submit the petition to Schumer's office, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota, Kirsten Gillibrand, Marco Rubio.
All people who are aware of the issue. Marco Rubio's aware of the issue. Gillibrand's aware of the issue. Schumer Rounds, they're aware of the issue. I'm sorry, I'm trying to drive this point home.
Todd Young of Indiana and Martin Heinrich, these are all people who co-sponsored the 2024 NDAA. So we know that they're getting close to beginning work on the forthcoming National Defense Authorization Act. And so now is the time that everybody in the public who cares about this topic and wants more transparency needs to make their voices heard. So we're trying to, get that initiative started out of the gate here.
Well, that's fine. I don't think you need a bunch of money to do that. People already know, but I'm beating a dead horse here. How much more is we got left on this clip here? 2 minutes or so. Yeah, well, I'm just going through looking at my notes and what I wanted to talk about here. We'll give this another minute, and then we'll switch over to the 501c3, 501c4 kind of debate that's going on behind the scenes of how this UAP disclosure fund is set up.
And it'll be a priority for us moving forward, I think, for the rest of the year, as hopefully, legislation gets added, and then we need to make, as many people here know, at the end of last year, Chuck Schumer and Mike Rounds went on the Senate floor and had a colloquy, which is an exchange between senators, and they pledged to continue working on transparency legislation. So we need to show them that we support their efforts, and also that we're going to hold them to their pledge.
Yeah, well, trust me, buddy, they're holding to it. They're already doing that. So there has been a back and forth about transparency on this. So when they get the money, right? When they get the money, what happens and where is the money coming from? So this is set up under what's called a 501c4. Now, everyone's kind of heard of, 501c3, the nonprofit organizations. So what I wanted to kind of dig into a little bit is what's really the difference? What's really going on with these, so we can kind of understand a little bit more. I don't think that there's how do I say this? I don't think there's a really big smoking gun here of it's all corrupt and everything like that. I merely went in here to kind of educate myself on the differences, and maybe you guys will find some value out of this too, to kind of help, tune your opinion on what you think is going on with the situation. So it says both 501c3 organizations and those with 501c4 status, which is UAP Disclosure Fund, can advocate publicly for their causes. But because 501c4s are allowed to lobby and advocate in ways that 501c3s can't, 501c4s have more flexibility in advancing their issues. So I guess it kind of makes sense that if they felt that they were, maybe going to back a certain candidate or get involved with that, it does open up the road for them down, or open up a lane for them down the road, and gives them that flexibility, which is interesting. It says they can pay for costs necessary to a political organization, compare their own missions or with a candidate's, ask candidates to sign pledges on any issue, and back candidates that reinforce their mission. So yeah, it allows them to kind of get behind the scenes. Now, what this does also, to the best of my knowledge, is it also makes it so they don't have to tell you who's giving them the money. And if we look at who's possibly investing some money in here, look at this guy. Chris Mellon's probably got a little bit of change, huh? I'm sure there's some money coming from him. Very interesting. Very interesting. So that's kind of a little bit of a breakdown on that. Manny had an interesting point, and I'll bring this up because not only do I like Manny, Area 503, I think he's a hell of a smart guy, dude. And he's kind of somebody I go to look for when I'm looking for more deeper information on kind of behind the scenes. He seems to keep his ear to the what is it, nose to the grindstone. I don't know. I'm not going to try to make a smart thing out of that, but here's what Manny says. Why would a group, and he's still talking about the UAP Disclosure Fund here, why would a group aimed at lobbying organize as a 501c4 nonprofit instead of a PAC so that they can avoid the transparency required of PAC donations? And he gives like the oh no face. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So they're avoiding the transparency. Look, wherever you guys land on this stuff, it's where you're going to land, like I said, I'm not going to encourage you to give these people any money. Time will tell. Time will tell. Now let's tie this back into David Grusch, because we're coming up on 52 minutes here, guys. All right. I got a couple more things I want to go over with AI today. I want to leave room for that. That's really interesting. So like I said, if this seemed a little bit all over the place, it's minutia things. I'm trying to tie them together best I can. Now, I was in the Twitter space that we just listened to right now with this guy here, with Yuan Feng. God, I hope I'm pronouncing his name somewhat correct. I was in here. And the number one reason why I was in here is because I wanted to hear
Inspector General.
I wanted to hear, and you can see me right here with this terrible picture. Oh my God. I thought this was actually kind of cool. This picture of me down. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this was my old Twitter profile picture. And I was like, I'm going to put some sunglasses on it, man. I'll use AI, I'll jump in Mid-Journey and have it put some sunglasses on. And I thought it was kind of cool. But, as time had progressed and I got some feedback on it, UFO Shane said I look like a frog. So it was actually not very good, I guess. God, I'm gonna lose my train of thought over this stupid profile picture. Who cares? I was in this space, but I was wondering, where is David Grusch? I mean, that's the thumbnail of the show. We're kind of wondering where is David Grusch? What's going on? Because when we look at this photo, who is missing? David Grusch is not here. Where is David Grusch? Okay. We've heard rumors that Grusch was going to work with Congress on his own. That maybe he was going to join up with them, not on his own, but join up maybe in support the UAP caucus, right? So I wondered, why is David Grusch not here? And thank God, Red Pair and the Koala, who has much more pull than me to get up into these conversations, ended up asking this question. Where is David Grusch? And I think there's a little bit of front end here that we don't really care about, so I'll try to find the exact spot, but I think it starts about right here. This is Kevin Yuang, the director of the UAP Disclosure Act, commenting on why David Grusch is not involved.
Form of representation in the form of public relations support and media relations support for anybody who might go public in the future, because these are people who have been working behind closed doors in programs that are super top secret, and if they come public, they're not used to having reporters calling them and the world seeing who they are. So we want to be able to provide that kind of support as well. So this hopefully will provide a situation where they feel more comfortable coming forward. In terms of your question of David Grusch, he's part of obviously an important part of the whole story that's happened over the last year. I mean, we're basically right on the year anniversary since he did his interview with Ross Coulthard on News Nation, and the debrief story came out. And so I think it's very possible that we may be working with him more directly in the near future. We're still looking into that. As is publicly known now, he potentially is looking at going to work directly in Congress as an advisor. Whether...
God, he said that way better than I did, huh? Going into Congress to work as an advisor. That's a way better way to put it. I'll give him props on that.
Whether he would, how much and what kind of role he might have with us in the future remains to be seen. But
I think you might see him a lot in the future, Fung. I think you might. And the reason why I think that is because of our next clip. This was also taken from the interview that Matt Laszlo did with Tim Burchett. And the interesting part about this interview is that the whole idea of Grusch being advisor is addressed right here from Tim Burchett.
Oh, any update? I know the UAP caucus was looking into potentially hiring David Grusch to be a part of your staff or a member's staff. Any update on that?
Yeah, we are not clear to have any budget like that.
I know the audio's bad, so I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this back if you guys didn't hear it. So Burchett says we don't have the budget. The UAP caucus isn't cleared to have a budget for David Grusch. Interesting.
Really? You're not cleared.
No, and that's just here we are in the middle of this thing. But I don't know what that would get us anyway. But it's
he doesn't even sound interested. Burchett says, well, even if we had the budget to get David Grusch there, well, I don't even know what it would do for us. Jeez.
We'll see.
So that, let me clarify. So the UAP caucus doesn't get to have a budget if you guys.
Caucus right now.
Yeah, that's your staff. That's the double team.
No. Hey.
You.
So there you go. It doesn't sound like the reason that the director there is giving for why David Grusch isn't on this photo with everybody is probably going to be the reason for very long. Where's David Grusch? We do not clickbait with the thumbnail, people. We do not. I kind of like how that ended, man. We kind of ended right there with him when it comes to this. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know when we're going to see Grusch. I know it's massively frustrating to me. I'm sure I'm not the only one when it comes to that. But what Rotary says, send cash. Yeah. Yeah, right? You're gonna send cash to the UAP caucus so they can give Grusch a job over there. Jeez Louise. So maybe you'll see him. Maybe he'll update. I don't know. Maybe he won't. Maybe he's got an issue with Elizondo. That's what I'm kind of wondering behind the scenes, you know? Because I feel like they would know that a little bit more ahead of time. I always look at like the stuff that comes out from Burchett and Luna and Moskowitz, all these UAP caucus members. I feel like they know more about this behind the scenes, but I feel like they would hear it after people like Elizondo and Mellon and Nolan and Nell, these people that are more closely associated, in my opinion, with David Grusch. You know, I just feel like that news would travel there first. Maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't be like light years ahead of time, but I don't know. That's my take. That's my take when it comes to that. So let's end on a couple of interesting moments here, huh? Some AI stuff. We got a few items. Let me see. Did you guys see this? This was an interesting little photo that started going around. You guys see this photo? This was supposed to be, let's read it. This is AI generated imagery. Oh shit, we already gave away the damn punchline for this story. There was this jellyfish UAP footage. It says the jellyfish UAP footage was directed by Jeremy Corbell. That's weird. Or Jeremy Cornell. What is going on with this guy? Directed by, there's a lot of issues right here with this statement. I don't think Jeremy directed anything, and his name is Corbell. God, now I'm like reevaluating whether or not I even believe this guy about this debunk on this photo. It was captured using U.S. government intelligence sensors over a forward operation. Yeah, okay, we know what the jellyfish is. But this was supposedly a new photo that had come out that people were talking about. That was supposed to be like, this could be the jellyfish. We got another one, boys. Huh? We're going jellyfishing. We got another one. But he's alleging, which I thought the photo was pretty cool at the very least when I first seen it. But what he's alleging is that, obviously, as we just read, that it's AI, that there's issues here with the framing. I guess what? Is it this right here? It's like it's pasted in like this line. Can you guys even see this? Let's see if, damn it, it's because the photo, I can't go in any further. But yeah, this line here, almost like it's pasted on there. Oh, wait a second. Now that I'm looking at this, whoa. There's a line over here too. Yeah, this is, whoa, there's something going on here with this photo. This right here, there's a line. I don't know if you guys can see it. Right here, see where the clouds change? Doesn't line up. That is pasted, ladies and gentlemen. That is pasted. You heard it here first. Like, he didn't mark that. How did he miss that? I don't know. But that one was there. So just in case you thought this was a real jellyfish, I'm going to go ahead and say big no. Big no. We're going to be debunkers over here today. Obviously, we went over Grant Cameron with the AI. That was very funny. It's all in good fun, though. It's all in good fun. And then this was pretty interesting, too, when we look at these AI, like the memes that we, like last week, we went over a couple of memes that were made into actual videos. This is a meme, but it's, I don't know, I guess it's the same thing. Yeah, photo, meme, same thing. But what they're able to do now is the AI can now reimagine any images with new background, including lighting and shadows. So Elon Musk smoking everywhere. Watch until the end. I'm not going to play the sound because let's not get the strike again. That was annoying. Or not strike, but where they kind of slap us on the wrist there and they take us out of the algorithm over it. But here we go. Oh my God. Sorry for headphone wearers there. Now we got it muted. So here you go. Let's take it step by step here, right? He's in the bathtub. Dude, he looks like a streamer. Like if this was a video game streamer of Elon Musk, this is him right here, right? Dude, imagine. He's playing Fortnite right now. Is it Fortnite you think he's playing? I don't know what he's playing. That's a very cool one. Now he's out smoking weed in the jungle. We got him out here. What's the name of that movie? It's like Tropic Thunder. This is if he was in Tropic Thunder, right? We got I don't even know what this one is. He's in some kind of industrial area. It looks like there's almost construction or not a finished area. I don't know. It's pretty interesting enough. But the cool part is it just speeds through it. And then this is kind of where the payoff is, right? Let me start that over because I want to know right where it hit. Yeah. Boom. Same thing as last week. Very cool. Now, look, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. You can still see the face move weird. He kind of oh, God, why is the sound coming back? Yeah, it's still not perfect. You can still see the fingers are bad here. The face morphs. Look at the finger down here. Oh, God, it's terrible. Getting there. But this is cool because it's just taking from an image, right? Still taking from an image. Very, very cool deal. So I guess that's a part of the AI stuff for the week, for the video stuff. This is cool. Now this one, I did question. Oh man, we're already getting to the point where like I have to question whether or not these are actually AI generated. But this is what's being said, that they're getting these really realistic faces. So I'll play a little bit of this here. Look at that. Boy, oh boy. This one's cool. That one's awesome. You imagine like a samurai movie? Last Samurai, huh? Tom Cruise. This one's more believable that it's AI to me. We've seen ones that were just kind of this scene before, like on the bus. I think I showed a couple of these that were close. And this one, only because of the background, but like the fidelity is insane. And this one I think for sure is AI, for sure. I mean, I think all of them are, but it's just like, it blows your mind. It makes you not want to say that you think that they're real because of how real that they look. That's really cool. That's an awesome shot right there. So yeah, it's getting there. I just like to do a reminder every week that we're here. It's getting there. Last thing, second to last thing here. Okay. This is very, very interesting. So we talk about AI creating videos. All right. But what about AI creating vision? And what I mean by vision is, how can I even explain this? Almost thermal mapping, seeing through walls. We're going to listen to this clip too, because this is really, really cool. And what it does do is it makes me wonder, how long has this been around? And if we have this kind of technology that we're talking about publicly, damn, what behind the scenes is.
What they did is they had, a camera looking at a space with people in it. That's sort of like coming in from one eye. The other eye is the radio signals, so sonar from the Wi-Fi router. And they just learned to predict, like, this is where the human beings are. Then they took away the camera. So all the AI had was the language of radio signals bouncing around a room. And this is what they're able to reconstruct.
Wow.
Real-time 3D pose estimation, right? So suddenly AI has turned every Wi-Fi router into a camera.
Dude, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
That can work in the dark, specially tuned for tracking living beings. What they did.
Dude, honestly, who's not throwing their computer out, man? Or throwing their router out? This just keeps progressing, guys. This just keeps getting wilder every week, every couple weeks. They're literally, you can see, look, it's drawing the layout. I'm finding it hard to really get too many words about it, because I'm just like, man, what do they have? What's coming? AI is important to look out for, man. Can't say it enough. Can't say it enough. Last thing that I thought was cool from the week is, well, from just a couple days ago, honestly. Guess who's back? Huh? You guys remember these guys?
Hey, Nick, want to look at some dead cows?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Is there still something anomalous with a small number of the cases?
Right, and the answer is no. The answer is no, Nick.
So the basement office is back. I don't agree with everything Green Street says, obviously, but you can't lie. That's just funny. That's just funny right there. Well, who is that comedian goes, that's just funner out there, no matter who you are. Larry the Cable Guy, that's who it was. So yeah, they're back, man. Who knows how this is going to look? This is going to be interesting. Now you have Green Street's perspective, like he mentioned, none of it. And you got Pope on the other side of that equation. I know Philip Mantle hates Nick Pope. He's actually got issues with Elizondo now. I was going to go over that. But I guess, Elizondo's got Philip Mantle blocked now because, he wanted to get the Dopser review report, and Elizondo doesn't want to release that from his book. But yeah, so Basement Office is back, and I don't know the exact date it's going to come back. I don't even think they even put that in here. We can see. Let's risk by scrolling down here. Let me see. Nah, no, I don't know. I'm sure he'll let everybody know when that does come back and the exact date. But it's something to look forward to, huh? There's not a whole lot going on, man. There's not a whole lot. There are a few things, little things here and there. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for it best I can, keep you guys updated. Once again, thank you for all the support from the UFO log thing. I had a lot of fun doing that. Thank you guys for being here. Listen, I know you guys ain't got to be here. Let's get a little background music here for a second, huh? Let's get a little bit of this, a little ending music. I had AI make this for a reason, right? I got to use it. I always like this show, like the old style. Are you talking about, oh, you're talking about the Basement Office? Oh, man. I thought she was talking about me. No, it's cool. I'm just kidding. But thank you for everybody for coming. Moody, good to see you every Sunday, man. You guys are always here. Rotary, Teen Titan Jess, good to see you guys. I'll go through the thank yous here at this point. DB Property Maintenance. Hey, bro, good to see you again, man. Haven't seen you around. Now, granted, I haven't been around as much. This is the second show back, but we're here. Nick, Cosmic Twilight, good to see you again. It was awesome, good conversation again last night, bro. We haven't had one in a while, so it's cool to have a good conversation with you again. And everybody, go follow the Cosmic Twilight on YouTube. I know he's doing something on Rumble too. He was kind of getting his fingers or his hand kind of slapped there by YouTube. A little bit of a, little suspension area there because of what he was talking about. So maybe he's over the target, as they say. That's when what was Burchett say? When they're over the target, that's when they fire at you. So yeah, awesome. Good to see you. Intergalactic Angler, thank you for coming as well. And then Steve Hammers. Thank you guys for coming. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you guys are enjoying the show. And I will go ahead and leave you with the song, right? The good song everybody likes. Have a great Sunday, everybody. We'll see you next time.
No UFO live stream shows on What the Truck. Hold up, what am I thinking? Terrestrial materials on at 1 p.m. Eastern. Terrestrial material, give me a recap. Terrestrial material, that's where you'll find me at. Aliens and AI, Matt, he's a hell of a guy. I bet I'll see John Stokes' steps and rotary motion. The cosmic twilight will hang out too. Jeff Garvey and Tim G. Star will sure stop by. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Live stream shows on What the Truck. Hold up, what am I thinking? Terrestrial materials on at 1 p.m. Eastern. Terrestrial material, give me a recap. Terrestrial material, that's where you'll find me at. Aliens and AI, Matt, he's a hell of a guy. I bet I'll see John Stokes' steps and rotary motion. Cosmic twilight will hang out too. Jeff Garvey and Tim G. Star will sure stop by. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Go! Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please don't forget to like, share, and me a recap. Terrestrial material, that's where you'll find me at. Aliens and AI, Matt, he's a hell of a guy. I bet I'll see John Stokes' steps in rotary motion. The cosmic twilight will hang out too. Jeff Garvey and Tim G. Star will sure stop by. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.